What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the top stocks that I'm looking to buy heading into this week here in the stock market. And speaking of the stock market, it's been ugly. The S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, they've all been crushed pretty substantially recently. So I want to go over some technicals, go over where I see the markets moving forward, and how I'm navigating this very choppy, very volatile stock market that we're in. And we're also going to break down the futures, taking a look at the S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, gold, and silver, and in general, what to watch out for this upcoming week. So if you guys find value, hit that like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, and join our free Discord chat and Facebook group, and feel free to claim your one free stock from Webull, valued up to $1,600 with a deposit of $100 into that account. All of those are free again and linked right down below in the description box. So let's get into it. Again, the markets last week and, the past couple of days, honestly, guys, they've been very ugly. The S&P's gone from 35.90 all the way down to 33.10 this past Friday, which was a drop from top to bottom of around 8%. The NASDAQ has gone, let's take a look here, guys, the tech-heavy NASDAQ. And mind you, this always, not always, but typically when we sell off, the NASDAQ sells off the most aggressively, right? The NASDAQ's gone from 12,400 and the peak all-time high down to 10,900 on Friday. That's a drop of about 12%. The Dow Jones has gone, let's take a look here, guys, from 29,200 to 27,400, a drop of about 6%. And, we notice on Friday, all of the indexes saw a pretty big rally heading into the close. The Dow Jones held 27,400, big support from the previous couple of days, and rallied into the close, which, again, that's a good sign. We talked about that on Friday here. That's a decent sign, let's put it at that, for the bulls, right? They rallied about 300-400 points heading into the close on the Dow. The S&P rallied from 33.10, and mind you guys, we also talked about this on Friday. This was a very bearish break. Look at the S&P. It went from 33.40, 33.30, big support, right? That held on the 8th of September, also on the 10th of September, and on the 11th of September, right? But the second we broke that was a lower low. That was the continuation of the downtrend, and that was pretty bearish despite us rallying and closing above that same support, right? So for this week on the S&P, I'm going to be looking to see, are we going to hold 33.40, 33.30, and rally up from there, maybe break out of this 180 SMA on the 5-day, 5-minute chart. That could be a sign of maybe a breakout, right? And pulling on this 10-day, 30-minute chart, you guys can see, for this downtrend to completely reverse, in my opinion, and turn to, maybe a shoot to the all-time highs again, right, into a bull pattern, we're going to need to see a break above the highs from the 9th of this month as well as the 10th of this month, right? We're going to need to break 34.20, and at that point, we could end up starting to see some sort of recovery, right? Especially if we get out of these moving averages here on the S&P. But quite honestly, guys, I don't think we're quite out of the storm yet, right? I don't think we're quite out of the storm yet. And if we start to break 33.30 tomorrow and we go to test the lows from Friday, this downtrend could very well continue, and the S&P 500 could be headed to 32.80, 32.75, which is another level that we've been talking about. That is right around this 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. So be careful, right? Don't let that rally Friday afternoon fool you guys. That could very well be a bull trap, just like we called earlier. I believe it was last week we called this bull trap, right, where the S&P went from 33.30. It saw a nice little relief rally, then it dumped even further, right? Don't get fooled into this, because this could very well be a bull trap again, right? And take a look at the futures. The futures market is up. The ES here, the E-mini S&P 500, is up 0.7% roughly, up about 22 points. That is showing some bullish momentum, right? We're gapping up, and if this leads into tomorrow morning, if large caps are green in the morning, we could very well see a rally in the morning in the markets tomorrow. But what you guys have to understand is just because the futures are green right now, it does not necessarily mean we're going to be green in the morning. For all we know, these could be gapping down, and that happened last week, I believe. We saw a nice pop in the futures, and we ended up gapping down aggressively and selling off the next day. So just because we're popping, be careful. It does not mean we're rallying up. This could very well be, yet again, another bull trap in the markets. And when it comes down to the NASDAQ futures, they're up a decent amount, around 0.6%, up 160 points. And you guys notice, despite the futures being up, they're all still downtrending on this hourly chart, right? Actually, no, that's the Dow Jones futures up about 0.6%, not the NASDAQ. That's the Dow up 0.6%, up 155. And again, it's still downtrending on this hourly chart. Take a look here at the NASDAQ futures, up about 1%, up 100 points. They're also still downtrending on this 1 hour chart. And the S&P, just to show you guys, is the same. It's still downtrending here on the 1 hour chart. So at this point, the futures are green. It's looking strong here for the S&P, Dow, NASDAQ. But again, don't get caught into a potential bull trap. We could very well continue selling off. You guys know, historically speaking, September is the worst month in the stock market. Not saying that it's going to be the worst month again, because for all we know, we can rally up from here, but history is looking like it's repeating itself, so be careful. And speaking of gold, gold futures are up 1.2 points, nothing crazy, about 0.1% here. And the silver futures are up about 0.4%. So a nicer pop in the silver futures, but still nothing too crazy when it comes down to the precious metals futures at this point. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your guys' thoughts on the markets? Where are we moving forward? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me with some of the points I made? I think, again, it's going to be choppy. I don't think the volatility is done. I'm still pretty cash heavy due to this volatility, due to the uncertainty at this point in time. And yeah, I mean, I think having cash and being more cash heavy is smart at this point in time. Maybe not more cash heavy, and again, guys, do what you want. This is not financial advice, but having a decent amount, whatever you guys define as a quote-unquote decent amount, in the bank, in your brokerage, just to maybe buy some stocks, I think that's a smart idea here, as we could see more selling. And when it comes down to the main event for this upcoming week, guys, it's the Fed meeting. We have an FOMC meeting upcoming this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, and this comes just weeks following the central bank's annual economic policy symposium, during which officials announced a new framework to inform their thinking on rate setting in light of inflation. The updated framework will allow for a moderate overshoot of their 2% inflationary target, alleviating the urgency for officials to step in and raise rates to stave off a run-up in inflation. And we all know, if they raise rates, you know what happened back in 2018, guys. Do you remember that? I sure do remember that. We were covering it on this channel about, when was that? About almost 2 years ago. Wow, guys, that was almost 2 years ago. It's crazy to say that, but that is when they tried hiking up the rates. You guys can see it here. And the S&P went from 3,300. No, that was this past crash. The S&P went from, take a look here, it was back in October, September of 2018. The S&P went from 2,940 down to about 2,360. So that's where we saw another little correction of about 20%. So needless to say, the Fed, if they raise interest rates, it's going to be ugly for the markets. Let's just put it at that. And you guys know, the market loves 0% interest rates and all of the money printing. And once that stops, that is when the markets could see a massive sell-off. And I don't think that's going to stop. I mean, obviously, it's not going to stop. He said that, and by he, I mean Jerome Powell, he said he's not even thinking about raising rates. So don't be worried, guys. Rates are going to be at zero. It seems like we do have quantitative easing at this point for a good amount of time. But again, just because we're seeing that, which will likely push the markets up, have that cash ready to go, because you never know what's going to happen. And in announcing this decision, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell omitted specifics on how the FOMC would achieve higher average inflation following years of undershooting its target, leaving the committee to discuss tactics at forthcoming meetings, which, again, is this Tuesday and Wednesday. And many economists expect details of the central bank's means of implementing its new framework will remain elusive at the September meeting. So take a look at what they're going to talk about Tuesday, Wednesday, how they're going to approach this, if they leave any clues, if they mention what they're going to do, obviously, and if they touch upon this past week's jobs report numbers. A lot's going to go down, and you guys know when Federal Chairman Jerome Powell speaks, the market's volatile, so we might start to see some selling, some choppiness. We might even pop on some news, regardless, depending on what he says. So watch out for the Fed meeting Tuesday and Wednesday. That's going to be pretty huge. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know down below in the comments. What are you guys watching for this upcoming week? But for me, that's the main event, right? That's the main event. And now let's finally get into some stocks that I'm watching and looking to buy. Adobe's actually the first. ADBE. Adobe is reporting earnings this week. And this company, I just have a feeling they're going to do well. And this company has for sure been benefiting from this crisis. I don't know if they've been benefiting, but let's just put it this way. The crisis hasn't been hurting them. Let's just put it that way, because they run a software business. They have Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, Premiere, right? All these different products. And people use these on their computers at home. It doesn't really matter whether you're in the office, you're here, you're there. So I wouldn't think their business got hurt. I'm a proud customer of Adobe. I use Photoshop for all of the beautiful thumbnails that you guys see on the videos, right? That's all me on Photoshop. And I think this stock is obviously beaten down, just like a bunch of other tech-oriented stocks are. And if it holds the 180 SMA here, and mind you guys, it's down about 13% from its peak here. If it holds this 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, which it seems like it has over the past couple of months, it could be a runner. It could be a runner, especially on good earnings. And you guys have to understand, if the markets crash, a lot of these large caps are going to get hurt, right? Adobe included most likely. But if they report knockout earnings and the markets are a bit shaky, volatile, even if they turn red a bit, Adobe can still go up. We've seen stocks report good earnings that go up despite what the markets are doing. So don't be scared to trade this just because the markets are rocky. And if they report good earnings, hey, it could go up despite the markets being rocky. But as always, don't trade it because I'm saying I might trade it. Always do your own due diligence. Always do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. So they're reporting earnings here on the 15th. That, I believe, is what? Is that Tuesday, guys, or Wednesday? That's Tuesday. So watch out for Adobe. And another one here is FedEx. FedEx is a company that I love, right? I missed this rally, which I'm kicking myself about. Yeah, I traded a couple of times here and there, but for the most part, I didn't buy in the 90s, 100s, 120s, and held all the way up to here, which, again, you can't make every move in the markets. You can't catch every play, but at this point, with earnings coming up, 9:15, and they knocked out last quarter's earnings, I think this stock, even though it's up a ton recently, I still think it has room to run. We have analysts upgrading it to a buy, I believe. We see Citigroup upgrading the price, upgrading it to a buy. Cohen is moving its price from 160 to about 260. So there's upside here. A lot of these analysts agree as well. And I've been talking about FedEx for months at this point, right? And overall, we've covered this as well. FedEx has a long way to go. Well, not too long. It's already made a huge rally, but it has a decent way to go up to those highs at about 274. To be exact, it might get there, and to get there, it needs 16%, a 16% move from here. So am I going to force it and buy right now? It's a bit overbought. Probably not, right? Probably not. But if we're able to get an opportunity, maybe post earnings, I'm kind of crossing my fingers, guys. And I think I mentioned this in the previous video. I'm hoping FedEx tanks. I'd love to see FedEx tank to $200, meet that 180 SMA, that simple moving average here on the 4-hour chart. I think that would be a very healthy entry on let's say they do decent on earnings, maybe they don't blow investors away, it sells off, that could be an opportunity. And for me, guys, I don't like buying before earnings. I think that's too much of a gamble, at least for me. So I'm going to wait until after, right? Same thing here with Adobe. And if we see any selling pressure, I'm looking to maybe enter into FedEx, right? And Adobe obviously is already seeing selling pressure. So if it goes down even lower, hey, I might pick up some shares there. And the third stock here is going to be good old Workhorse, man. Workhorse has been a workhorse, right? No pun intended. It's been crushing it. The stock has rallied like crazy ever since it broke 20 bucks. I mean, we called it out on the break above 20. It ran from 20 to 25. It pulled down to about 21.80 on Friday. I added shares at about 23 bucks a couple days ago. I'm holding on to those, and we're running up because of the hype around the USPS contract. That could come at any moment, guys. That could literally come at any moment. And every day that goes by, every week that goes by, investors, traders are getting a bit more antsy. They're speculating a bit. When is it going to come? When is it going to come? So we're seeing the stock move up higher, right? We're seeing it bid up. A lot of people are buying the stock in this anticipation of the $6 billion USPS deal, whether Workhorse gets half of it, all of it. The stock's moving up on that news, right? And we've seen it move again from even under 20 bucks, from $17 on the 8th of this month all the way up to 25. It ran 31%, guys. We pulled down, we tested around 21, 22, and we rallied off there. So honestly, I think Workhorse is going maybe not to the moon. We could see another big sell-off, like we saw recently from, $20 down to about 14. So we could see something like that. But overall, I think the trajectory here on Workhorse is up, and I'm long. I'm even looking to buy some call options, maybe 2 weeks out, maybe 3 weeks out at a $30 strike, maybe a $32 strike, depending on what I'm looking at. And, that could be a little bit of a speculative play if you think the contract's going to come in. And a lot of people are speculating if the contract gets approved, whatever, Workhorse gets half of it, all of it, this stock price could go up 100% like that. It could go up to $50, right? So if you're buying call options at whatever price, $30 strike, $28 strike, you can make a crap ton of money doing that. So I'm interested in potentially buying some call options here on Workhorse, maybe even some longer term call options that are a bit safer, right? Maybe a year out, maybe 2 years out. And then I might buy some about a month out, maybe even some weekly options. We'll get deeper into those in the videos in this week. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. But, moral of the story is, Workhorse, I'm long and strong this stock. Another stock here is NEO. NEO, I haven't talked about it much, but it's been getting a beating. And by not talking about it much, I mean recently, guys. I've kind of stopped talking about NEO over the past couple of videos, but it's piquing my interest again. And the reason why I stopped talking about it was because, quite honestly, at $21, at $20, I think the opportunity wasn't there. But now that we're selling off, we're testing about 16 bucks. If you guys saw, we actually hit $15 last week. That would have been an excellent entry point, but I didn't get that. That was only there for a split second, but the fact that we tested 15, we've been consolidating since then, rallying not really rallying aggressively, but we've been running a bit from there. That's a good sign. I think NEO has potential here, especially if we're able to break this overall little downtrend that we've been in ever since 21 peaked at the beginning of September, right? I think if we do anything like this, take a look at my chart here, guys. Take a look at this arrow that I just drew. If we break out like that into 18, 19 bucks, I think NEO could be straight back into the 20s. No doubt about it. And honestly, this may be a bit crazy, but I'd rather see it sell off to about $15, maybe even $14, and at that point, I'd load the boat. I'd load the boat on a swing trade, and you guys know I already have a long-term position in NEO that I was buying about 12 to 18 months ago at around, $6, $4, $3. I bought a little bit at $2, so I have a nice position built for the long term, but just because you have a long-term position doesn't mean you can't swing trade it too. So I'm long-term holding it, and I'm looking to swing trade it, and for me to swing trade it and go hard and heavy into it, I'd want to see it more at about $15, $14, $16, but then again, that might not happen, so plan B would be if it took out that resistance, this little downtrend that I just showed you guys with this arrow. That's plan B. If that happens, that could also be a buy point at about, again, $18, $19. So watch out for NIO and Workhorse. Those are probably my two favorite electric vehicle oriented stocks at this point. Yeah, Tesla's the big dog. I love Tesla, but other than the big dog Tesla, my favorites are for sure NIO, Workhorse, and a lot of people have been asking me about Nikola, guys. I wasn't really going to touch that in this video, but might as well just go over it. Nikola is under pressure. Nikola's under pressure, and quite honestly, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I wouldn't really touch Nikola at this point. I don't think it's worth it. They're not really selling anything. They haven't really done much. I mean, it's a lot of talk with Nikola, and now we have allegations from Hindenburg saying that they're what's the word that they use? They called them an intricate. Is that what they said? Intricate fraud or something like that? And they have a lot of proof on this from text messages. They're alleging that their massive a Mack truck, I don't even know what it's called. They put a rope and dragged it or let it fly down, not fly, but roll down a hill. It's not actually being powered. So there's a lot of allegations here with Nikola. And again, they're not bringing in money. I mean, they're not selling anything. So I'd be careful. This is what you call pure speculation, right? Very pure speculation. NIO, at least they're selling something, right? Even Workhorse. I mean, Workhorse is selling products too. They just hired 200, 300 assembly line workers. And even if they don't get the USPS deal, there's still other deals out there that they could get, right? There's still other companies that they can ship these C-Series trucks to. So Nikola, I'm scared about it, quite honestly. I'm not invested. I haven't touched it. I've never traded it either, right? So I haven't even touched it. I've been on the sidelines, but yeah, until these accusations clear up, I would stay away from Nikola. And the next one here is AT&T, ticker symbol T, which if you guys missed my video on yesterday, where I talk about 3 dividend stocks I'm buying right now, this is one of them. And I'll link that video down below if you guys do want to check it out. And in general, AT&T has been crushed. I think their ex-dividend date might be coming up, so that could be maybe an opportunity if you want to buy in for the dividend. Although, one thing here, guys, let me key you in on this. A lot of the time when a company has an ex-dividend date, and when they pay out the dividend as well, the stock typically falls the amount of the dividend. So that strategy might not work. It might not work, because if you try and buy a stock before the dividend just to get the dividend and sell out of it, typically the stock goes down the dividend amount. And we've talked about that in different videos. Go dig deeper into that. I can't dive deep into that in this video. It'll make the video too long. But in general, that's how it works, because obviously if it didn't do that, everybody would just buy a stock before it gets a dividend. They'd sell it once it pays a dividend, and everybody would just make that easy money, that guaranteed 1-2% on that dividend every quarter, depending on what stock you're working with. And it doesn't work like that, guys. It does not work like that. But even though they are paying a dividend, it might go down due to that. I'm still watching it, because if we get above $30 in AT&T, maybe $29, we consolidate at there, we could end up seeing a rally. And mind you, this is one of those stocks that's been beaten down. It hasn't really recovered, so it's on my recovery stock list here. And yeah, I'm just waiting to see what happens with it. And again, go check out that video that I made on Saturday going over the 3 dividend stocks I'm buying right now. And by the way, they're all under $50 per share. So 3 other ones here, guys, are going to be tech-oriented. Well, the last one's not really, but it kind of is at the same time. Facebook, FB. Facebook's down a good chunk here, trading around 266. It's down from 307. That's around a 13.5% drop. We are seeing, like many other tech stocks out there, on the 4-hour chart, Facebook is holding the 180 simple moving average here, this gold line. So if this holds, we successfully rally off of that tomorrow. If the futures stay green, large caps have a strong day tomorrow, we can make a play here on Facebook off this moving average, right? Whether it's back up to 270, maybe 275, I think it's possible. But again, don't get trapped. That's huge here, guys. We could very well rally in Facebook, but it could go lower from there because it could end up being a bull trap. So be careful. We could see that pop, and yeah, I'm watching for it. And the next stock here is going to be Microsoft. You guys remember good old TikTok? The deadline is approaching. It's on the 15th of this month. That's on Tuesday, guys. So on Tuesday, September 15th, TikTok will be banned from the U.S. unless Microsoft or Walmart, and we got news a couple days ago. Actually, it was about 2 weeks ago. Microsoft and Walmart are looking to get in on this deal together. If they don't ink a deal, this is going to be not available in the United States. Speaking of TikTok, right? And me personally, I could care less. I don't even have TikTok, but it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Especially the young Gen Z people, because those are the majority of the users on TikTok, from my understanding. But either way, if they ink a deal, Microsoft could rally. Going back to what I said earlier, even if the markets go down, we get some good news in an individual stock, this stock could go up, even though it's a large cap and the markets are going down, if they get that good catalyst. So watch out for September 15th, what goes down there with TikTok, if they ink a deal, how much the deal's worth, what the terms are, whatever. That's going to be interesting. And overall, on a technical basis, Microsoft is holding 200. We've seen it hold 200 in the past, 201, 200, 203. So this could be a point where we might see a bit of a relief rally back up to 210, 215. And Walmart here, it's not really tech-oriented, but they are slowly. They've been competing with Amazon. Now they're looking to get into TikTok. So, yeah, I guess they are kind of tech-oriented at this point. This stock's gone down about $16 from its all-time high here. That's about 11%. We're approaching that 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart. We're approaching an old level of resistance here around 130, 135. So I'm thinking Walmart is attractive, and especially if they ink a deal for TikTok. I don't know what the split's going to be, if they do it with Microsoft, whatever. We'll see what happens. I think that could be, in the short term, very good news for the stock. Take a look. The day that they announced that they were going to get involved with TikTok potentially, the stock went from 130 to 141, right? And it went to 152 there. So one scenario is they ink the deal, the stock goes higher. But another thing that could happen is, the buy the rumor, sell the news type of move, which means that we already saw the pop, the rumor that we're going to get the TikTok deal, went from 130 to 152. Now we're selling off. If they get the deal, it might pop again, but then it might sell off eventually. So it's going to be tricky. It could end up being a buy the rumor, sell the news type of scenario. It might not be, right? But either way, guys, it's going to be a very volatile week. And I'm going to wrap up the video here with a message. And I always say this: be patient. Don't force anything this week. It's going to be volatile. The VIX has been acting up. Although it was down about 3 points on Friday, it still spiked from 21 to about 38. That's almost a double up. So there is fear out there. There's volatility out there. There's a bit of uneasiness out there. So have that cash, have that dry powder ready to go. I sure am. And we'll leave it at that. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing. Don't even consider it. Just do it. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure to join our free Strive Smart Discord chat, our free Facebook group, and don't forget to claim your free stock. It's literally free money from Webull, valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100 into that account, and that is how you get the free money. And all of those are linked right down below in the description box. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, it means a lot to me. Be safe out there. Good luck in the markets this week. It's going to be crazy. I'll catch you all. Peace out.